guests and residents, the seats you sit upon, this hall has been consecrated. Because any Indian event is always linked to the divine. So it is with much pleasure and humility that we invite you to share with us the experience we shall have today. Now most of you know that Odissi is one of the ancient arts of India. India itself has too much to offer the world. I don't think all the yugas are enough for us to absorb it all. But today is very special, because today we are thinking of a particular group of people who actually have made ecstatic love and joy in the divine to be their lifelong aim. Many of you are very familiar in all the cities of the world. You have the orange robe people singing and dancing in ecstasy. It's difficult to believe that it was only in 1966 that Srila Swami Prabhupada started what was the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, better known as Hare Krishna. With the Mahamantra chanting the great name of Krishna and Rama, they have become almost a household word. But today, we seek to actually praise and be part of one of the aspects of their lives. ISKCON, as Hare Krishna movement is commonly known, has got many aims which are in your brochure in your hands. But what is special is that dear Swami Srila Prabhupada decided that no one in the radius of 10 miles of an ashram should go hungry. And thus was started the Food for Life program. Today, they cook 1 million meals a day. In India alone, because the government has said that all primary school children should be given lunch, the Hare Krishna movement with their wonderful new age gravity force kitchens cook nearly 900,000 lunches for school children in India. Now that is service in the divinity that they believe in within their hearts. After all, love of fellow men is one of the marks of the divinity within us. Each time we greet each other, we bow to the divinity in the other. And it is with humility and pleasure that Nupur Arts, Joyoti and her dancers have presented this program to in some way to be a part of that great Food for Life experience that each day spells, if I don't love my fellow man, what am I speaking of God? So with that, we have put together this program which is dedicated to Krishna. Now Odissi, as I said, is one of the oldest dance forms of the world. And Orissa, it comes from that little state on the eastern shores of India, kissed by the Bay of Bengal. And Orissa itself, to me, will always be divine. Their very capital, Bhubaneswar, dedicated to Lord Shiva, Lord of the Earth, and the Lingaraj temple just blows your mind away when you get to Bhubaneswar. And from the temples of Rajrani and Mukteshwar and Parashurameshwar and Konark, the unknown sculptors embellish the way of the pilgrim into the divine form in the Sanctum Sanctorum with the most beautiful human forms. And from that frozen stone, we see those indolent smiles, the languid forms, the gentle movement of the hand that unknown sculptor loved the divine within him to worship the divine within the temple. And that is what gave rise to this wonderful art called Odissi. And Odissi itself is remarkable. India has got so many different art forms, of which 4 are classical, and Odissi is now counted as classical because it was always used in the worship of the gods in the temples at Puri and the other temples. And out of villages like Raghurajpur, even today, if you were to take that rickety road into Raghurajpur, you will hear the bells and you will hear the sound of the stick, and you'll see young boys still following the art of their ancestors, the Gotipuas. The Maharis and the Devadasis who served in the temples are long since retired, but their art lives on, as you will see tonight. Their very costume is magical because what they wear is a silk that is woven in Sambalpur and other places in Orissa. And every dancer dedicates herself to God. If you look at their borders, every border of an Orissa dancer has a Rudraksha dedicated to Shiva. So everything about the dancer is dedicated to the gods. She wears the shikara on her head. She wears a beautiful headpiece that is like the amala that sits on the top of every shikara in the temples of India. Her very drape with those beautiful silver bells and the silver chain, everything has got a meaning. Therefore, Odissi in Melbourne is as living as it was nearly 6,000 to 8,000 years ago in the temples of Puri and Konarak and all those wonderful, magical places in Orissa. Today, the whole concert is dedicated to Krishna. And you will find that throughout there is that little sound which must come surely from your heart as you listen to those bells, because every movement that the dancer takes comes from those temples. There is the choka, which is a male kind of thing, and if you look at Lord Jagannath, who presides today, you will see the position he is in. He was carved out of a log of wood after the dream of a king, and he lives in Puri with his brother Balabhadra and his sister Subhadra. And also the Trabangi, soft lasya, the triple bend of the head, the torso and the hip. That is Odissi today as it was many centuries ago. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, when you saw the dancers coming, they placed in front of Jagannath a wonderful picture of a very wonderful lady, Sanjukta Panigrahi. Joyoti Das comes from a wonderful line of gurus, from Guru Kalamandir, and then Sanjukta is brightest star, and Joyoti, who has kept the pristine purity of her guru to bring it to us, to you and to me. Odissi had 3 different schools that developed. It only developed to the stage just a few decades ago. And there's Devuchandra Prasad, whose style is more Tandava, and it's got tribal kind of intonations. And Kalacharan Guruji's is soft with a mixture of the two. With that, I leave you to experience what is really an ancient art. A little bit of housekeeping. I'm sorry to bring you from the sublime to the ordinary. No videography, no photography, please. All mobile phones are to be switched off. We will start this evening with something called the Mangalacharan. The Mangalacharan literally means auspicious song. With that, the dancers come and consecrate this ground. They start by asking the blessings of Jagannath, and then they pay obeisance to Bhuma Devi, the Mother Earth, and ask her forgiveness for stamping upon her. They then sing praises of Krishna. Each word that you sing in praise of Krishna enhances the divinity within us. And the dancers then pay homage to their gods and Anjali over their heads, in front of their foreheads to their Guru, in front of their heart to you, the audience. With the Mangalacharan, we bring this offering to the divinity in the whole Food for Life program that the Hare Krishna movement has dazzled the world with and humbled it, and also within our hearts an offering to Krishna, who comes closest to the ecstatic joy we can find in bhakti towards the divine form of our choice. Ladies and gentlemen, Krishna Bandana. Welcome to Krishna.